Hello and welcome to the Irish Road to Cheltenham in association with thetote.com. In the third part of our series, former Cheltenham Festival winning jockey Paddy Flood chats to Dave Keena about his experience of riding the track and gives his thoughts on how he thinks the principal races at this year's festival will shape up.
Paddy, in terms of the racing festivals, Cheltenham, it's obviously the daddy of them all, as they say. From your perspective, it's been a relatively lucky place to go.
Yeah, I had a couple of good spins around there. I got my winner, 98 minute for Tom Taff. Brilliantly trained, really. I think he was probably the only Irish horse that going there that year that we were very happy with our handicap mark.
And you could see the whole cycle has changed now. The Irish go over there and they could have maybe 8 or 10 winners this year, all being well. I remember way back in the day when Trapper John used to be the banker, and you'd remember those times too.
Yeah, just about remember them. But yeah, if we came out there with 2 or 3, it was great times. But now the Irish are dominating. Rightly so. William Mullins and Gordon Elliott are just turning out very good horses one after the other, and they're all come from the point-to-point scene nearly now, which is great. And everyone's getting a little few quid out of it in Ireland. We're not buying them out of France as much, I don't think.
And talk me through the lead up to that race from your point of view, 90th minute.
Yeah, well, he was kind of, I got on him a Nace, I think, one day in a handicap hurdle, and I can't remember what he was rated at the time, but I really liked him. He needed a run, and Tom was happy with him, and Dermot Cox, a local man, owned him. And we were all very happy, and he just kind of one of them horses that just kept stepping up every time we went to the races. Really, he got through his handicaps, and his last run before Cheltenham, before winning, he beat Solwit and Thurles, and I think the English handicapper left him alone.
Wouldn't happen nowadays.
No. Well, it didn't happen either that time. I don't know. I think he was 144 going into it, and sure, look, he was touched off in a Grade 1 in Ireland, so he'd a few pound in hand. But I think that race you need nearly to be a Grade 1 horse with less than 11 stone on your back.
And isn't it amazing how times have changed? At the time, Tom Taff kicking king in the yard, and it's a very cyclical game and a very fashionable game.
Very much so. We'd finger on the pulse as well. He used to run a great race around there, and yeah, like myself, I suppose I'd always gone there with 4 or 5 rides, and that's a wheel. I don't know if it's a big wheel in racing, but it is a wheel, and it keeps turning, and sometimes you fall off and sometimes you stay going around.
And your impressions on this year's festival? Plenty of good races there, plenty of good horses. In terms of an Irish banker, what's your sense as to what the Irish banker is?
For me, I kind of have been saying it a long time now. I think Benny the Doe is probably the best horse in training in Ireland, to be honest. And I think if you supplemented her for a champion hurdle, she'd just win it. So whatever she goes for, mares or champion, I think she's the banker.
And she was very, very impressive in Goran when she won the Galway hurdle. Probably beaten off part Apple's Jade, but it's the way she travelled through the race. She could be called a winner a long way out.
Yeah, look, for me, Apple's Jade's probably past it. Not past it age-wise or anything, but she just doesn't look like she's enjoying her races anymore. She put her to bed fairly quick, which she should have, on the day. It's just her French champion, her form was super, Her all-round form is super, and I don't know, everyone was buzzed about Annie Power, but I actually think she's better than Annie Power, just looking at her personally.
And Willie's said that as much, that she is as good a mare as he is trained, and that's saying something.
Yeah, and like she won a champion hurl, and to me this year's champion hurl is probably the worst I've seen for a long, long time. I don't know, the vibes don't be seen that she's going for it. Look, if she's as good as Annie Power, she'd nearly win it.
And what's your take on the Gold Cup?
Have to go with last year's winner. I think the rest of them are all beating each other up here, there and everywhere. I love the preparation of album photo. Back to Tramore, good on Willie, it works. Tramore's a tricky track, and I don't know, a lot of people know how tricky Cheltenham actually is. If it wasn't as good a festival as it is, you wouldn't just be rushing there to run a horse,
I walk the track every Monday, and I am amazed at not how bad a track it is, but if you go and you walk Ferryhouse and Punchestown on the lead up to the festivals over there, the place is like a carpet. It's far from that in Cheltenham.
It's unbelievable, how it got so much traction. And how it's ended up kind of being the Olympics of the racing, because as you say, you walk it, it's not like Leopardstown or Ferryhouse or even in Navan, it's turning, there's jumps on bends, you're up and down hills. Believe me, I've rode plenty of ordinary horses around there. It's not a nice place to be on a horse that's not capable of being in the first 5 or 6. But look, I suppose that adds to the drama of the track, and I think only for that uphill finish, a couple of them would sneak away at the front, but obviously that pull up the straight kind of sorts them out.
Just talk to me about that, because I know when we speak about the festival, some people talk about the old track and the new track. Just explain the difference between the two.
The old track is it's a long way from home, from the second last on the old track. I rode a horse from Mouse Morris on it called Vanelmar, and I reckon he's probably one of the best horses I ever rode. He just didn't reach the heights. He got a little injury. But I remember being at second last, absolutely cantering, thinking I'll win and I'll win easy. And I knew he'd stay, and it was a 2-5 race, and I thought, just let him roll away here. And I swear to God, it was like going around the track again by the time I got to the last. Winged the last, and Ruby came and beat me. Obviously, Ruby of all people come and beat you, but it felt like I couldn't see the hurdle. It was that far away. It felt like I was galloping all day to get to it, and then climb the hill as well. On the other track is, it's nippy, it's quick. The second last comes at you, even if you're not going well. You're still within 3 lengths of the leader, so you still have to really be on your game. The winning and losing of that is whether you miss the second last or jump it really well, you land running. You have a big chance if you can wing that second last, because it's down a hill and at the very bottom of it. And if you miss it, horses tend to skid a bit and they lose their confidence, and then all of a sudden you're running into the hill again, and it's just too much for them.
And the Champion Chase, I think it's probably the race of the week. 3 really good horses. Altior is a dual Champion Chase winner this year. Probably not as good this year as he has been. He can poke holes in his form, but nonetheless he's going back there to try and win it for the 3rd year in a row, and he's probably a worthy favourite in the race.
He is, and for me he should be. Until he's beaten at that trip, he's still the king of that trip. They pulled up stumps with him going the longer trip. To be fair to them, they pulled it up good and early, because to me he ran a super race that day against Surname, and it bottomed Surname, and it probably bottomed him for a little while, but Nicky Henderson has kind of said, right, okay, stick to what we know, and he'd done it, in my opinion, early enough and got the horse to win again the last day. Now, he wasn't that impressive, but at the line he was. It's going to be a great race, because Defi de Sal is going to wait, and I think Paul Townend won't show his cards as early on
Chacun pour
soi, and his jumping is just exceptional. So a lot of people weren't impressed with him at the back of the last in Leopardstown, but believe me, you get racing the second last with a good horse like Min upside you and makes you work all the way. I was impressed with that horse, and I was very impressed the way he jumped. But we know Altior hits a flat spot. We also know he will stay to that line. It could be the race of the meeting.
What's your impression as to what's going to win the race?
I still stick with Altior. I think he's a superior 2-miler. Has been a superstar. He's only been beaten once over fences over a trip that didn't suit him, so I'll stick with him.